Join us each Saturday for the Justice is Here podcast, an innovative, revolutionary podcast that speaks to justice for all party members across America. We'll speak to leadership, we'll speak to activists, and most of all, we want to hear your opinion. So if you're tired of the two-party system and how it doesn't work for you, tune into this podcast to learn how we can take back the justice that we deserve. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to, and I'm not going to cry, welcome to the last episode of the Justice is Here podcast for 2025. This is it. Guys, we made it all the way through 2025. I remember when this podcast came on in February. We made it a whole year. So I hope everybody's doing well. We literally only have 2 bills to pay because we're going to take a walk down memory lane today. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, obliterate it, destroy it, mow along with it, detonate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I probably won't get to 1,000 boo, but I hope to at least get close to 400. So definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know when I go live. Also, tell 5 people. Tell 5 people, tell your 5 friends, tell your lady with the too many cats, tell the person down the street, your frenemies, your enemies, your loved ones, and all of your friends. Tell people about this podcast. We're trying to get even more viewers. I know this is the last episode of the year, but still, we want to hit 2026 as strong as we can. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing well. I don't know what happened. I think I must have hit my arm because my arm is hurting and I'm not sure what, if I bumped up into something, but it's not feeling well. But we are under a snow advisory. Yay.
Ooh,
So I
well,
ordered my food. So I'm like, I was gonna go out. Nope, not going out, staying right here in the house. So we
I've
are
got
taking a
shorts.
walk.
I've got shorts on, and we've just got on the mesh at the moment because it was 80 degrees today.
I think it's what 2025, but the roads are terrible. The roads are terrible. I'm trying to see what the temperature is.
Likewise, the roads are terrible here too.
Um, let's see. I'm trying to find something here. Because we got a lot to talk about besides taking a look down memory lane. And put your comments in the comment section. And remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, and support us on Patreon. I do not see what the temperature is going to be. Oh, it's 29. I'm sorry, it's 29. And we are expecting more snow accumulation within the next 48 hours. So, yay. And we do have a wintry advisory. Oh, that starts Monday. I hate when they anyway. So I want to talk about the state of Indiana again. Trump got slapped twice,
Ooh.
not physically, but metaphorically speaking, and it does
So
my heart
was that like this?
good. It was more like that. More like that.
You said twice, so it was like a
Yes.
twice.
Yeah, more like that.
Not
So
okay.
no, that's a Three Stooges slap. But um
No, Three Stooges would be like this.
okay, now I yeah, okay.
And
Yeah,
probably with
happy
a woo.
21. So as anybody that does not live in the state of Indiana knows, um, Trump is trying to change the congressional seats because he knows midterm he's going to get the biggest loss he's gotten in his political experiment. And of course, my theory, he's in Epstein files and he's trying to protect himself and his friends from their names coming out. So he came up with this brilliant idea to redistrict the congressional maps. Now keep in mind this is only did every 10 years. That's when the census takes place, and the census won't take place until 2030. So Trump is jumping the gun 5 years because apparently voter integrity is at stake and we have to ensure democracy, i.e., I got to keep my name. My name's in the Epstein files, and I don't want anybody to find out. But um, they came up with the brilliant idea of redistricting Indiana. Now, keep in mind, Indiana right now has 11 congressional seats. 9 of them are held by Republicans. So I kept thinking, well, why would they do that? You have the seats here needed. But what I was not thinking about is Trump is literally was talking about wiping away the 2 Democratic seats.
Mhm.
I didn't even take that into consideration. I'm like, well, how would he redraw a city like Indianapolis that has 38% of its population is black? How are you just going to draw black people out? But they actually showed the map, and I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. So the Republican Senate, the House overwhelmingly voted for it. All of them voted for it. All the
Uh,
Republicans in the House voted for it.
if I understand correctly, when they showed the map, and I haven't seen the map, but the map probably looked something like a pie, where it had all of the Republicans that are outside the city were kind of the fatter sides of the pie, and they slivered down to the smaller sides that are in Indianapolis. And that was their way of redistricting, was something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring it up because I want people to see this map. But the way they drew it, I was like, well, yeah,
Generally,
this
generally, that's how it's done. When someone is gerrymandering, they're looking for ideally they're looking for 60% or better to be supporters of their position. Occasionally, they might dip lower than that, uh, particularly if they're trying to do something like the gerrymandering in Indianapolis.
yeah. Now this is what our map currently looks like.
Mhm.
This is the one on the left. That's what it currently looks like. The one on the right, this one is the one that was constructed. Now, if you look, this area up here, that's Lake County. And look how they've added Republican districts to that area. And look what they've done to Western Indiana, like how that's in front. And Indianapolis is like right there in the square middle. That's gone. That's literally gone. It's like disappeared. And they've
Mhm.
made this area, which is I want to say Switzerland County and Posey County, they've made that slimmer, but the reach is further, if that's making sense. So the one on the left, it kind of goes down here, whereas over here, it reaps up into like Johnson County, um, Hamilton County, etc. So they were real slick about it, and I didn't realize that's what they were doing. Like I didn't, because I kept saying, "Well, how are they gonna?" And now I knew, but anyway, the House, they, I don't think any Republican in the House voted against that one on the right. It went through committees. It just pretty much breezed through. But oh boy, did the Indiana Republican senators have a cake in store for Mr. Trump? Mm-mm-mm. There are 40 Republican senators. I think there's like 50 total. Wait a minute, how many? I want to know how many. Hold on a second here because now I want to know. Hold on, guys. You would think I would have this ready, but I didn't. Okay. So there are, There are 50 members of the Indiana Senate. 40 of them are Republican. So a majority, now the way Brom said, he said a few, but I want to talk about this vote because the Republicans did this once. And so Brom, because Trump criticized him, said, no, we're going to have another special session. And keep in mind, Indiana Constitution says that there's only a certain amount of special sessions that you can call in the first place. So he called two, still legal, but he's
Pushing.
kind of, yeah, he's pushing it. So he calls the second one. Same thing happens, except for this time, a state representative, state senator that had voted for it turned around and voted against it. So they picked up a vote. So the reason that is problematic for Brom, this is it. He cannot legally call another session in 2025, and the Indiana Assembly doesn't come back until January the 8th or the 5th, 5th or 8th, one of those days. And the reason that's significant is because this is midterms, and the maps have got to be submitted by the 1st. So this is it. There's no more redistricting in Indiana. And I wonder, what do you think, even though I know you don't live in Indiana, why don't Republicans nationwide have this same? And I'm not saying that these guys are perfect because literally they vote, they support this guy like 99% of the time. But how come they had the courage to say, you know what, no, but Texas said, no, we're going to do it?
Um, I think the leadership in Texas, starting with the governor, is very much oriented towards supporting the Trump regime to their detriment. On the other hand, Indiana, I believe, has, I won't say more, Indiana has a great deal of agricultural interests. And although farmers are getting a bailout again under Trump, as they did in the first administration after his tariffs, then um, they're seeing that his policies are very destructive to the farming community. They're losing workers, the migrant workers that they're used to having, and that's impacting their abilities to operate their businesses. So at some point, it goes above and beyond just what billionaires are able to push. People still have to live their daily lives. And if they're not able to live their daily lives, particularly because they're being slowed down by all of the changes um, to policies that impact their trades and their ability to farm, I think that's a large portion of it. I won't say it's the only reason. I would say additionally, you've seen people who have started to realize that the idea of make America great again uh, was theoretically premised on the idea of domestic policy and doing for American people in a way that has not shown out. And instead, we're seeing foreign policy that is anything but peaceful, particularly with the recent piracy of a Venezuelan oil tanker on its way to Cuba.
I think, and the best part, because I'm so petty, our lieutenant governor. I still say Indiana has the worst governor lieutenant governor combo no, nobody beats these two. Our lieutenant governor that once said that the three-fifths compromise led to the end of slavery. Attends a church. Yeah, he said three-fifths compromise led to the end of slavery. It was essential, he said. Um,
The three fifths count. That's in the
You know,
Constitution.
you know what it is, but he knew exactly
So
what he was saying.
to recognize, just for a point of clarification, for anybody who doesn't fully understand, the 3/5 clause is in the Constitution. So that's what uh, essentially that's what the founding fathers laid out um, when they were setting up the government. That's codifying slavery. That's one of the ways that slavery was codified. So it's this strange kind of double speak where you're saying the opposite of what you actually mean.
Yeah, he did. And and he also allegedly attends, he is, I don't know if he stepped down as pastor of this church, and I don't even want to call his name, but apparently some of the staff, or well, let me rephrase this. He has been known to hang around people that may be guilty of child exploitation of the
Mm,
sexual nature. That has been dogging him every since he won. Because our lieutenant governor, the way it works in our elections is we don't separately elect the governor and lieutenant governor. They're together. They
mhm,
do that like the parties at the party level. They'll have people run for lieutenant governor. Whoever wins, that's the candidate, and then whoever wins governor, that's the candidate, and then they just run as one ticket. But he had to be the one that announced that the bill was defeated. He didn't look too happy, and it just, I don't know why I'm petty. It gave me joy. It just gave me joy, and I'm going to I'm doing a lot of screen sharing because
mhm.
I want to read a statement that the governor had to say. And oh, and just for you all to know, in Indy, Kamala Harris is going to be in Indianapolis to promote her book. So let's just,
It sounds like a great opportunity to have a discussion about everything that's wrong with her.
you know, she's been popping off, and I'm going to get to this too. She's been popping off. Well, you've seen where protesters have shown up, and she's like, "I'm not the president." Girl, you was enabling genocide. What are you talking about? My thing is, I'm not paying money to go see her do word salad. I don't got time. I don't got no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not buying her book. I don't care to buy the book. But yeah, you're
No,
right. It is a
under no circumstances would I suggest to anyone that you go out and pay money to support her. That being said, um, the idea of abandoning the GOP because Trump and everything he's doing is problematic um, should be mirrored with abandoning the Democratic Party for all that they were doing as far as the genocide under Biden and
yeah,
all that Kamala Harris was supporting during her campaign.
yep. She will be here January the 13th, January the 14th, January the 15th. And ticket, no, that's New Orleans. I'm sorry. Let me go down to Indianapolis. Let me go down to Indianapolis. She'll be in Indianapolis. Oh boy, I don't even know when. I'm trying to find it and it's not on. Okay, let me go to Google. I hate to be
Okay.
advertising Google, but they're the ones that gave me the exact date.
While you're in the process of looking for um, what dates she'll be appearing, it will give people an opportunity to plan to do whatever sort of protest they may want to do outside of her events. Um, Oftentimes, people will set up an interest in tickets or add them to their cart in whatever place they're being sold and not purchase them. That might be something that you were interested in doing, even if you're not interested in going to the event. You could
Yep,
add it
so
to
she
your
well, so February the 26th, she will be coming to the and this is a small venue, the Murat Theater in Old National Center to promote her book 107 Days.
It's probably no surprise that it's a small venue because she can charge high prices and restrict who is coming in.
Yep, and let me see how much these tickets are. No, the tickets are through Ticketmaster, so you can't.
Well, you restrict it based on prices.
The highest ticket I see is $150.
What's the lowest price?
I'm moving way out here. No, let me backtrack that. The highest ticket I see is $403.55. The lowest ticket I see is 150.
There you go.
Are they kidding me? Are they kidding me? Are they bleeping kidding me? Are they kidding me? Are they literally sitting here kidding me? Who? No, I already know who. I already know who. I already know who. It's gonna be the people. We only had the binary choice. We couldn't get Trump and blah 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 blah.
This is what I was saying. They restrict the audience based upon the pricing.
Because
So
they know they
don't.
don't.
They know that they've got wealthier people that did support them, that will continue to support them, that will be able to afford those prices, as opposed to anybody who would be a protest vote of hers would be most likely to show up if it were a free event.
Yep. But I do want to show this clip, that this little quote that Brom did. And trust me when I say this, and I say it all the time. Brom is the worst governor in the United States of America. There is no governor that is worse than this man. When I say that, I say the governor of Texas, whose name I actually am forgetting right now.
Governor Abbott.
Governor Abbott is a Trump stooge. Brom is all three of the stooges. He's all three of the stooges combined into one in terms of kissing Trump's butt.
Was he all four?
Oh yeah, because there was four stooges. Sorry, because we don't count Curly Joe. We do not count Curly Joe.
Well, it was Mo, Larry,
Shemp
Curly, and Shep.
and Shemp. Yeah, and the more you know. Okay, so let's read this statement here, and this is directly off my Facebook page, so you'll see my little picture right there. So he states, and I think he did this on Twitter because I don't use the term X. And I said it was 50 senators, there's only 40. So it states, I am very disappointed that a small group of misguided state senators have partnered with Democrats to reject this opportunity to protect Hoosiers with fair maps and to reject the leadership of President Trump. Ultimately, decisions like this carry political consequences. I will be working with the president to challenge these people who do not represent the best interests of Hoosiers. And I love the reader added context. Indiana Capitol Chronicle added 21 out of 40 Republicans voted against the bill. That's not a small number of state senators. That's like that's like half.
That's the majority of the Republicans
That's a
voted
majority.
against it.
So I think
Now,
Brom is making.
did all 10 Democrats vote against Trump as well?
All the Democrats voted against it, redistricting. There was no doubt. There was no doubt. Yeah, if they had did that, then people would have had their. I mean, there was a massive, massive organizing that took place by the citizens.
So it was 62% of the state senate that voted against
Yeah, about
redistricting.
62%. Right, right. Because and there's a couple things I want to say here. One, ha 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 ha. Just what you get. Stop this, because there's one thing, and Brom actually thinks he's got political skin in the game. Dude, you're one-term governor. You will not. Republicans don't like you. The Republican parties, when he ran um to get the nomination for governor, he only got 36% of the vote
Mm.
of Republicans. Dude, they don't like you. They don't want you. They're waiting to replace you. Any Republican that runs against them probably is going to win the nomination.
And they're all
Now,
lining up right now with the redistricting as saying he's an extremist and we're the legitimate part of the party that Indiana or Hoosiers should support, I say.
now you would think, oh, the Indiana Democratic Party, and usually I know because I always take a stomp on the Democratic Party, but in this case, I cannot. They have three people that have came out to say they're running. Now, their chances of winning and what type of Democrat can win Indiana, that's a whole different story. But dude, you're one-term governor. Stop it. Nobody, if you support somebody, everybody's gonna vote against that person because you support them. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you to be governor. You cut services for autism. I who is sitting here thinking, you know what? That's a good governor we got. Nobody. There's nobody that thinks this.
Is your governor's race is 2026?
It's the same year as the no 2028.
Oh, okay.
The House and Senate is 2026, which is why they voted against the redistricting. They didn't do it
Now,
because they were like, "This is wrong. This is terrible." They're all those seats are take. All those seats are up.
did you hear about that? The independent, there's a it- there's a woman there in Indiana that pushes Medicare for all. That's anti-Democrats, anti-Republicans. Um,
I
I
have no
wonder.
idea who you're talking about.
I wonder if that
I
person might.
literally don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, who is this brave person? But yeah, all the seats are up for open election. And that's again why they vote. They were not voting against redistricting because they thought, you know what, this is terrible. A lot of them got a lot of the people that Indiana Action Coalition, there were a lot of groups working together to organize phone banking and letter campaigns and email campaigns and did an
And
excellent.
let's
uh,
shout out those groups because I'm sure they represent a variety of constituencies.
I can't think of them all. I'm trying to think of. Um, I know there was Indiana now. There was the Indiana.
That's the
The
Indiana
that
National
was
Organization of Women.
yes, National Organization of Women. And I'm trying to like think of them off the top of my head, but
Mhm.
let me. I was trying to actually find a list of the Republicans that did vote um for the bill, but I can't. I don't know where I put that at because now I can't find it. So let's see. Groups. I'm gonna type this in, guys, against Indiana redistricting.
In the meantime, while you're looking this up, everyone might be interested in knowing that there was a recent election for mayor in Miami down here in Florida.
Yes, I was gonna talk about that. Yes, the first time in 30 years they have a Democratic mayor.
That's correct. I think the people of Miami are a little bit fed up with how they've been treated by the Trump administration. I don't know that they'll be treated any better by the Democratic mayor, but unfortunately, when you deal with the two parties, you get burnt both times.
You sure do. There's no list of there's Common Cause. I do know Common Cause. Um,
Okay.
Hoosiers Against Brahms, that's a Facebook page. Indiana Action, that's another Facebook page. See, I know them through their Facebook pages because that's how I knew what was going on. Um,
Sure. And sometimes that's exactly how people are organizing today, as opposed to in yesteryears.
Yeah, so I and man, the fact that Brom is so upset, just I don't know why it gives me such joy because this is the second time that Trump got beat, and like nobody's talking. This has got more attention um than I thought it would. I'm like, this is on CNN. This is on Kyle Kalinski's show. This is a lot of places. And it's because again, I'm still wondering why Republicans, especially in Texas, I know you answered the question, but do they have a spine? Do they literally, or do they just sit around, whatever you say, Trump will do
Yeah,
it?
there. I'm not intimately aware of Texas, but I can tell you here in Florida, essentially the agenda is set by the governor and the Republicans who run both the state Senate and the state House. Um, they just fall in line. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. The governor sets the agenda. The state legislature pushes it forward, essentially as presented by the governor, with very little pushback.
And that's just, I'm like, what you, how you campaigning? Like who are you? Like what lies are you telling people? Like just sit there like I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna be a maverick. I'm gonna be maverick. Oh gosh, I didn't mean to use the word maverick, but you know what I'm saying. Um,
Mm.
I'm trying to think about what else I want to talk about because we got kind of sidetracked with the fact that um Harris is coming to Indianapolis February the 26th, and the lowest ticket I could find was $150. And people are going to tell me if I say something about it, it's going to be, well, we only had these choices. And no, you had other choices. There was this one candidate. Let me tell you what who I voted for. His name was Dr. Cornel West, and his running
Word.
mate was
I
Melina
voted for the
Abdullah.
same guy.
You have choices. You just don't want to make them for whatever reason, whatever the media tells you you're going to do. And I did want to talk about Trump's popularity. And I know this is going to tie into me getting updates because there was a Justice for All meeting today, wasn't there?
There was.
Okay, so I thought so. I'm like, when they're meeting today, and everybody out there watching, put your comments in here because I'm just flying by before we just start talking about walking down memory lane. Because again, this is the last Justice is Here podcast for for 2025. Um, looking forward to 2026. Not sure what it holds, but hey, we're gonna press on anyway.
Hey, did you like today's date being a math problem? What is 12 plus 13?
25. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. See, now he's got me something like, oh yeah. But put your comments in the comment section. Please, please, please. I see some people watching. If these 5 people watching tell 5 more people, that brings us up to 25 watch. See how that works? Tell 5 people. Anyway, Trump is around 30, maybe 36% in terms of his popularity, give or take. And we all know what I think it's a couple factors. And again, I'm going to tie this to the Justice for All party
Mhm.
because ultimately, I think this opportunity opens itself up for us to really get out there and say, see, we told you all this was going to happen, um, and point them towards our favor more away from the Democrats. But anyway, so there's a couple reasons I think it's so low. Um, One, I still think the Epstein files are playing a major factor. Um, Especially since he seems to be at war with his former disciple Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It's that
and
plus it's come out that they are essentially being obvious that they're looking to didact some, but not all of the people. So essentially, they can turn it into a political campaign against Democrats and only leave the um, perpetrators that are Democrats as being named and didact the Republican perpetrators rather than getting everyone. From our perspective, I think we'd like to see all of those named in the Epstein files prosecuted and incarcerated, most likely.
exactly. And then you have the economy. Now, the economy, let me make sure I get this right about the economy because so many people kept saying, well, Kamala had a plan for the economy. She had a zero plan for the economy. Where was it at? You tell me what it building a supposed fictional 3 million houses. If she were president, there's no way 3 million houses would have gotten built. She never talked about raising the minimum wage. She never, and then she stole Trump's stupid idea of not taxing tips that service workers earn. That's the dumbest thing I'm like, y'all can't think we're this stupid. So the economy was bad under
Well,
Biden.
to be fair, I think as far as service workers who work with tips, um, oftentimes they're being taxed even when they're not being tipped. So for whatever reason, they get stuck with somebody who's not tipping them. They're still in their paychecks being taxed based upon an assumed tipped amount. So for service workers that regularly get tipped, I completely understand the interest in not wanting taxation on tipping. Um, but that's something that there's no reason why people across the board shouldn't be supportive of. And so the idea that Trump came out with it and Kamala supported it, well, I don't know that JFA has any issue with it. It's just not that big a deal.
But there were so many caveats to that. It was like you had to make a certain amount, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, stop. But the economy was terrible under Biden. It was terrible, 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 terrible. But it got way worse under Trump. I mean, he took what a bad situation and somehow made it even worse.
It's the
So,
tariffs.
I don't. Here's the thing I'll say about the tariffs because maybe I'm not feeling the effect of it, or I'm feeling the effect, but I've gotten so used to higher prices that I've just become used to it.
That is the effect.
Um,
The higher prices are caused because of the tariffs. So anything that's being imported has a tariff on it. Essentially, it's a tax by the US on Americans to continue to buy um, any kind of items that are coming from overseas. That's supposed to be protecting American businesses that are producing the same things, except American businesses don't produce many things that are being purchased
that's
from
what,
overseas.
and that's where, and I'm not going to say I agree with Trump on anything, but I could see the argument that if you make foreign items more money, that would lead to Americans, people buying more things made in America. Problem being, we don't make anything anymore. There's nothing we
Exactly.
make. We don't make fabrics. We don't make televisions. We don't make phones. There's nothing that we make. So,
And
like I said,
and here's where he went real crazy because one of the things that we do is we do produce a lot of beef, and we actually lost a bunch of our beef sales because of um, things that Trump was doing. He subsidized, was it Argentina, beef industry to the tune of something like $20 billion.
I thought it was 40.
It might be, um, but the idea is he's using American taxpayer money to subsidize a foreign beef industry, which is in turn then going to be able to compete better against the American industry and therefore hurting the American industry.
Yeah, so the economy is bad, but then there's this other thing that I think is happening, and this is where my point is. I think the SNAP cuts that this, and keep in mind this, the Biden administration had proposed, I don't think it went through, but had proposed making cuts to SNAP. So don't be delusional. Don't say, oh, they would never. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. He cut Medicaid.
I think
He cut those.
they began going after the social safety network under Bill Clinton, if I'm not mistaken, and they've been doing it
Right, but I'm just comparing this
continuously.
administration to the one that preceded. I'm not going
They've been
way back.
doing they've been doing it continuously ever since.
I know that, but what I'm saying is just to keep my brain on track, I'm just going the last administration. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, we know Bill Clinton cut the safety net, social safety net. He also signed the 1994 crime bill. But yeah, so I don't want people to be under the delusion that Biden was somehow the savior of the working poor. But I think the SNAP, especially the SNAP benefits being cut, when the court said, you know what, you do have to uh, offer SNAP benefits, and the Trump administration appealed it. That's when I'm like, you know what, this is not gonna work. If you're trying to stay in office forever, because I do literally think that's his goal, that's not gonna work. No, people not gonna go for that.
If they're if they're going to try to suggest that the forever stay in office goal is going to happen, if they're going to actually make it go forward, um, they have to expect that at some point they're going to try to intimidate voters so that they can change who's allowed to vote or who actually turns out to vote in this 2026 election. So it will be, that's what we're looking for to either happen or not happen. It will be extremely disturbing if it is happening, but that should be a signal as to why you need to stand together and stand up if they are in fact trying to impose some sort of martial law and or make it far more difficult for certain communities to vote by like closing all the voting sites and removing people's
Yeah.
names from the rolls.
And that's where people need to be diligent. Check with your local, um, oh shoot, I forget the name of the place you check. Oh, help me out, Tim. Who was it that you check with for your voters registration?
It's usually with your local elections commission.
There it is, the Elections Commission. Check your local elections commission. Check it. I say check it every 6 months, especially as the midterms come up. You want to be checking that thing in January, and then June, and then October, and then a couple of days before that. Yes, you need to be checking it more than, I'm not saying check it every week, but it wouldn't hurt.
I, I would say probably probably don't have to check until shortly before primaries if for whatever reason you're participating in primaries, which I don't see a point of because so far the Justice for All Party does not have any projected primaries, and therefore I don't see any reason to participate in primaries. But um, I'm suggesting that you would want to do it probably about 45 days prior to any election, whether it be primaries or general election, because in most states, registration is allowed up to 30 days, I think is the one of the cutoffs. So if you're checking around 45 days, it allows you to get yourself back on the rolls if you've been removed.
I right now I'm putting in, there is a website. And Nelson, I'll come back to you. Thank you for joining. But I did put in a website here, vote.org. Am I registered? Just go to vote.org and you'll get right to it. And basically, you type in your name, your address, you go down and you type in your date of birth,
And it'll let
um,
you know if you are
and it'll
registered
let
to
you
vote.
know. If you see your name not registered, because I know I'm registered, period. I already know I'm registered. Um, yeah, it took me less than 15, it took me less than 10 seconds. So if you are not registered to vote, I'm going to put a link in to register to vote. And again, you want to do this with your local election board. Um,
Sometimes it's called a board of elections.
yes, some states it's called state board of elections, but there is a website called vote.gov. And you can go. So if you don't see your name on that first website that I saw, and they say, "Oh, you're not registered to vote," then you gotta go to the second one and then register. Let me put that there. See, we're all types of information today. Then you'll go right there. Now, if you go to this one first and you're registered, they're just going to tell you you're already registered. What are you doing here? But either way, go to check your voter's registration because I already expect some foolishness to happen. And I expect it. I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to participate in the primaries or not. Because as a non-Democrat, non-Republican voter in Indiana, they make us declare which one we are. And I'm like, I can't see. I'm not going to say Republican under any circumstances, but I can't see the benefit in saying, "Oh, I'm a Democrat. Give me the Democratic ballot." Um,
I can tell
I
you
probably will end up voting, but it's gonna it's gonna be with like begrudgingly, like, "Oh, I got to do this."
something I've done in the past. Um, I used to register with whatever the dominant parties, um, whichever the dominant party was wherever I lived. So, for instance, when I lived in New York City, register as a Democrat because the primary and the Democratic primary pretty much decides the election. Here in much of Florida, um, it would be the opposite. You would be registering as a Republican because the Republican primary very much decides the general election. Um, Alternatively, at this point, I'm recommending that you try to work with the Justice for All party to organize against both of those parties.
That's what I want. But then in Indiana, because we're Indiana and we're so special, if you're not a Democrat or Republican, you can't have a primary. So even though the Libertarian Party is absolutely positively registered as a party and their names are on the ballot, they don't have a primary because that's Indiana. But Nelson has checked in. Nelson says tariffs don't work against China, given that by passing NAFTA, as we got China to make less than what we used to make in the US, now they are a superpower and we are the ones hurting.
Absolutely. We outsourced, I think it was not just NAFTA, but I want to say the GATT agreements that came after NAFTA, um,
Yes.
where we were outsourcing everything we could to support our billionaire class so they could make more money on the backs of um, poorer and poorer workers, essentially.
I'm gonna let Tim talk to you all because my order was dropped off. So Tim is gonna talk to you all. It's gonna take me about 3 minutes. Tim, talk about the meeting today. Talk about give us a JFA update. I'm gonna scoot off here for a second and I'll be right back.
Sure. Um, we haven't quite figured out how to shift these over yet, but we will shift them over for Tracy's uh, channel. Um, we did a number of I say we, I should actually shout out to my JFA brother in Massachusetts, Yasha. Um, chopped up the most recent Cornell West interview with Tracy here on the Justice is Here podcast. And he's got about 13 shorter clips between 30 and 60 seconds I think about half of them are 30 seconds or less, and the other half of them or so are 60 seconds. And that'll give you a chance to just have little snippets that will allow you to share with people um, specific points, specific talking points, little sound bites as you see fit from that interview. Um, for the most part, about Brother West and the Justice for All Party. But we will absolutely make that happen where we get the shorts done for Tracy that are already available elsewhere. We're going to get them onto Tracy's website as well, or rather YouTube channel as well.
Thank you for that. It didn't take me that long. It cold out there. I'm like, where did this snow? Because literally there was no snow on the ground. It had melted, and it's not deep, but I'm like, the streets they haven't plowed the streets yet. So guys, we don't know if we're gonna be going to church tomorrow. I might have to live stream and be happy with that. 'Cause I'm like, whew. But
Do
anyway,
do they get the salts down on the streets so you can all drive?
they get them on the major streets. So
Okay.
the streets they hit here are like Washington Street, Meridian, um, anything the highways always are gonna get it first, and then they'll get to the other streets. Like I live on a two-way street, so eventually they'll get to me.
Hmm.
It may be like Monday, but they'll eventually get there. And then I think it's going to snow again tomorrow, so they may be waiting. It just depends.
Yeah.
We don't have
My block, the snow plows never come. Never.
ha 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 ha. It's not really bitter cold out. It's like 13 degrees. So I don't think that's too bad at all. And I did want to mention Um, and we are going to talk about our favorite memories of this show. We really are. But I know Tim mentioned something about the show Change Up next year. So remember, Justice is Here podcast. I will not be back next week. I will not be back until, and I'm just bringing this up in terms of the calendar. I will not be back until Thursday, January the 22nd, 2026. If enough people contact me, and you know my email, I'm not going to give it out, and say, Tracy, come back, I would be willing to come back the 15th, which would be Dr. King's actual birthday. But so far, the plan is to come back January the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um,
It
probably
sounds like a great sabbatical.
I always take a break. I always take about a month break at the end of the year because my birthday is coming up, everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna be 52 years old. That's right. Um, and so I got a big, huge weekend plan. I'll tell you now what I'm gonna do. I was gonna throw like this big thing, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have any money. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna take off Friday. Then I'm going to do a whole list of free activities.
Okay.
And then of course since my birthday is actually on a Sunday, um, and football comes on Sunday and the Niners play on Sunday, um, I'm just gonna do that. So it'll be different because usually I make a big, big, big deal about my birthday. And like this year, I'm like, oh, I don't really got the money to do that. So let me figure out what else I can do. But yeah, I used to take a 2 month sabbatical. Like I would hit that first week of December and I wouldn't come back till like February.
Mm.
But this time I bumped it up and said, no, I'll come back January. Last year I did not come back until the Justice is Here podcast came back.
There you go.
So, however, I will be back Friday the 26th. And that's because that's my annual holiday Christmas special show. I'm going to talk about my favorite Christmas movies, my favorite Christmas toys, Christmas meals, Christmas songs. And then, as usual, because I've done this 3 years in a row, I tell the origins of Christmas, why we celebrate it, misconceptions about Christmas. I go full circle. It's one of my favorite shows that I do, besides the Easter show I do. So it'll be, and I usually attempt to sing. So tune in for just that. That's December the 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a good little plug for that. And
That sounds
Nelson
very interesting.
said, yeah,
Yeah, I'd
Nelson
like
says
to
we need to get, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nelson first.
We need to get, we need to, we need to get the removing of the FICA cap and Social Security to keep it solvent in the Justice for All agenda. Um, Again, I'm still waiting for somebody to kind of I think I know what that means,
I got
but
you.
I'm like,
I got you.
well, I want to
So
know,
FICA
please.
is FICA is what you see on paychecks that's taken out of each and every one of your paychecks for Social Security. Essentially, you're paying into FICA, you're paying into Social Security from as your earliest job. The way they set up FICA, for whatever reason, they decided that there is a cap. I want to say that the cap is currently $172,000. Nelson, please hit us up if that's not the cap. Um,
Also, it's
but
an income gap.
it's somewhere in that range. So therefore, you are taxed for FICA on the first 172,000 or thereabouts that you make. If you are making more money, so for instance, you are making $250,000 or up there more, you are no longer taxed ever on any dollar above that cap. If we remove the
Okay.
cap, people who are making rich people who are making more than the cap number would be paying on every dollar the same way that people who are making less than that cap are paying on every dollar that they earn.
Oh, thank you. Because I was like, okay, I think I know, but I wasn't. Okay, now, see, just like G.I. Joe, now I know, and knowing's half the battle. Thank you. Because I was like,
I'm hoping Nelson will give us the exact cap number because I don't I think I'm off by a little with the 172,000. I know I'm in the ballpark, but hopefully he'll have the better number for us. Hey, I wanted to give a
so,
shout out to Catherine in Pennsylvania with the Justice for All Party. She had a Pennsylvania Justice for All Volunteers formation meeting this evening, and she pulled out. She's got a steering committee put together for the state of Pennsylvania, and they are moving forward with the organizing campaign in the state of Florida or state of Pennsylvania. So, big shout out to Catherine for doing that. Thank you so much. You rock. You're a rock star. We appreciate you. Keep it up. There we go. The cap is $175,000, and the rich are not paying any money after
that
that
literally makes no
175,000.
sense because I'm thinking if you make more, you should pay more.
Well, here's the thing. Essentially, you would expect, why is there a cap? And you should be paying taxes on every dollar earned
I
if
mean, of
that's the
course,
idea of having a social safety net. If you're making that much more, if we didn't have a cap, we wouldn't have any issue with the solvency of Social Security
and
because
yeah,
it
and
would
keep
be
in mind
paid by the
this,
people who don't need it.
not to cut you off, but both parties want to cut Social Security. This is a point I was trying to make to Pierce last week, and I don't think he was getting what I was trying to say. I'm like, unless I'm wrong, I literally think Joe Biden said, I don't want Social Security anymore. And I think it was when he was like a senator. He never said, hey, I was wrong for that. And if I could, once I find that clip, I promised myself I was going to look for that clip and I forgot about it because I know it exists because I've seen it like several times. I'm like, oh, yeah, he did say that.
The
And
Heritage
keep,
the Heritage Foundation has been against Social Security, and both the Democratic and the Republican Party take their lead oftentimes from the Heritage Foundation.
right. and
Project 2025 people
the Affordable Care Act.
and the Affordable Care Act people.
Don't forget about that, the Affordable Care Act.
Absolutely. They feed bad
People
ideas to both the red and the blue.
exactly. It looks like our our um media is trying to like they're trying to save healthcare. I'm like, you're trying to basically sell subsidies for insurance companies. Wouldn't you want to have this thing called, I don't know, Medicare for all? It'd be a lot cheaper.
I mean, the idea is that they are forcing us to have a middleman involved in our healthcare system
When you don't
instead of
need one. It's
just addressing
unnecessary.
healthcare directly. Remove the insurance industry altogether from healthcare. That's what
But
we're
the
asking
people will
for.
be out of jobs. No, they won't. We'll just shift them over to work for the government. We'll just shift them. Nobody has to
Well,
lose their jobs.
aside from that, it's not like our elected officials care about people losing their jobs. We've just seen them fire hundreds of thousands.
And most of them look just like me.
And here's the crazy thing. How did you not know that that's what they'd be doing when you literally hired a reality TV show actor who is known for saying you're fired?
You know, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to answer your question and get back to Nelson. I'm going to get to Nelson first. If we don't get rid of that cat, if we don't get that cat removed, we are all going to get a 23% cut in 86 more months. And they're just acting like they got all this time. Okay.
I hear
Um,
what you're saying, Nelson. Fully agree with you. I hope
um,
that every candidate running for the Justice for All party is on board with it. I fully support the idea of removing the FICA cap entirely. Right on.
yeah. The reason that they voted for Trump, they decided that as long as it affected people that look like me, then it it didn't matter. As long as black people and brown people and indigenous people and Asian, as long as it's not me, as long as it's not, as long as it's not in my front porch. Why should I care that black people are getting are not going to get EBT? Although they didn't know that, they soon came to find out that EBT and SNAP are exactly the same thing. Um, that was hilarious watching that. But they literally decided, you know what? Yeah, he's racist. His policies are gonna, as long as it affects them and not us, we're okay with it.
Well,
Conversely, Democratic supporters said, hey, she's for genocide and she wants to give Israel everything she needs, but because she's not the other person, I'll hold my nose and, as sellout Bernie Sanders says, move her to the left. Oh, in Texas, I am not going to talk about Jasmine Crockett's loss in the Texas Senate. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. It's just not. Don't get ideas. Now, do I
one,
like Corbyn? No, I do not. I do not. But y'all really smoking something. But
it
I
looks like she's going to get the Democratic nod for Texas.
well, yeah, I'm surprised the other person hasn't dropped out yet. I'm like, somebody's going to talk to him. Watch you drop out. Look around March because their primaries in April. Right, that month before the primary, he's going to drop out. I guarantee it. They're
And
not going to.
she just won't have a primary.
No, don't have a. No, she'll be the only name. He'll drop out
That's
because
what I'm
he
saying.
wants. Yeah, he'll drop out. I guarantee it. I don't know why I got this feeling. I'm like, he's
Isn't
going to
that the
drop out.
craziest thing about the Democratic Party? How they just stopped having primaries?
Yeah, they used to. I promise y'all, the Democratic Party used to have primaries. Now you say whatever you want about the Republican Party, and I got plenty to say about them. At least they had a primary. At least they had debates. I mean, they had them. Sure, we already knew Trump was going to win the nomination, but they took the time to have them. Democrats were like, no, no, you can't run. And
There
and I
on the Republican primary for president. in 2024. I want to say there were probably about 7 candidates, and Trump
I
as
thought
one
it
of
was
them.
10.
In Florida, I can't tell you that it was the same in every
Oh,
state.
because I'm talking about who started and then who ended. Yeah, you're
Mm,
probably right. Yeah, because I'm like, they don't even pretend anymore. I got a gut feeling he's gonna drop out. I don't think he stands in this race. What she's got in her favor is name recognition. I can't take that away from her. She's got name recognition. But girl, you black. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say the unfortunate part. I'm gonna just say it out loud. That's Texas. It not gonna no.
hold on. Let me talk about some demographics. When it comes to um, the largest proportion of Black people in any state,
It's
Texas has
Texas.
the largest proportion of Black people in
They
any state.
absolutely do. That
So, to
means
the
here's
extent
what's
that you were going to have a Black candidate for identity politics that's running in Texas,
but you
you'd
also had
expect them
another
to get the
black
Democratic
candidate.
nod.
Right. She's not the first black person in Texas to run for Senate. They had Colin, the ex-football player. Blah, 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 I can't think of what his last name is. Also black. Also didn't win. Matter of fact, Ted Cruz beat him handily and he raised all that money. I'm like, this what y'all want? So I don't see it happening. I've been wrong before. Heck, I said Trump was going to win in 2020. I was like, oh, he got this. All you got to do is show up. I was wrong. I've been wrong before, but I'm very, very certain that the other guy running against her is going to drop out like a month before the primary takes place. And then they'll say, we got to come together as a party. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to go down when they do the general election, but we'll see.
Yeah, she would have to get people to register to vote. I mean, not that I like Corin. I do not trust and believe that guy is an unapologetic racist piece of something. But I'm like, and keep
I
in
don't
mind
I don't
this.
think I don't think Texas um is overwhelmingly Republican. Um I
So how
think,
come Ted Cruz keeps winning?
if I'm not mistaken, the way that Texas is set up, and it's becoming more and more common throughout the nation, um they have somewhere in the neighborhood of a little under a third Democrat, a little under a third Republican, a little under a third independent, and then the other ones, whatever other parties. Um, and so it's a question of swaying the independents or which way the independents lean in any given state these days. And in Texas, very much the independents lean towards the Republican Party, although I think the more financial issues that we're seeing in Texas, and Texas is among the worst, along with Florida, tends to make even the independents in Texas or Florida a lot more concerned about what the Republican Party is doing. So they aren't necessarily that supportive of the Republican Party.
Colin Allred. That's his name. Colin Allred. Black guys. And Cruz beat him handily. It wasn't even close. He raised like $50 million. I'm like, and you still lost. But now is the time to talk about our favorite memories of the Justice is Here podcast. I got a ton of them. I still have not had what I call a bad interview of all the guests. Okay, so put it like this. We cannot name Dr. Cornel West as our favorite guest. That goes without saying. But and you can't name yourself, who were some of the guests that kind of like stood out to you?
Well, I gotta tell you, the most interesting guest that I remember, uh, barring myself and Brother West.
Hold on. We got this person now jumping in here. We need awesome justice for all party candidates like Tracy Hint Hint. No, no. Keep now you may continue. Go ahead.
Uh, was the time that you decided that you needed me to step in and interview, and I had a grand old time interviewing the guest that day, which was you, Tracy.
Yes, that was me. I think my favorite guest, besides of course Dr. West, was his wife. Oh, I enjoyed her poetry reading so much. I'm not normally into poetry. It's like, it's not something I really get into, but her poems, the ones she read, were so impactful and so good. I'm like, wow. I also enjoyed Stanley. I know Stanley's last name. I think it's Cross, but I can't think of his last name. He was really good. Um, Israel was very good. He was my actual first guest. He was my literal first guest on the Justice is Here podcast. And I'll
Mhm.
never forget it because he always said, because he was like the first person I asked to be on the congratulations to Dr. Cornel West. Nope, that's wrong. Congratulations to the 47th president of the United States, Dr. Cornel West. But he said, no, I'll never do it. And then to have him come on the show to do it, oh, that was just like, yep, put that, put that in my head. But another favorite memory of mine. See, my memories, I always blur the shows together
Mhm.
because for me, they're not the same show. Obviously, they're not the same show. But okay, Nelson, Melina Abdullah has never appeared on the show.
Yes, he was what that just shows that he's seeing other people.
But no, she's never appeared on the show. That's the one person I cannot seem to get.
Yeah, Tracy Nelson's trying to tell you he's seeing other people in his podcast world. It's not just
Yeah,
you.
so but Tim Black interviewed her twice, and I haven't interviewed her once. I'm like, I would love to have her on the show. Love, love, love to have her on the show. My favorite memory um is when Lillian came on and her guest and talked about California. That was, I mean, all my interviews are great. Trust me, they all are. But that one, um, I really got a lot out of that one. That one went way longer. I thought, okay, it's going because I remember telling her it's about a 45-minute interview. Have we ever gone 45 minutes on this show? No, we have not. We've always, always, always gone over. Um, but we ended up going like almost 2 hours. Like I was seriously like, no, answer this and answer this. And her and her guests were so gracious and didn't say, shut up.
Well, I
Um,
mean, California's a big state. They got a lot to say.
um, I also enjoyed when you, Pierce, and me came on and we were talking about certain subjects,
Mhm.
um, and didn't have like a particular interview guest, but you would still give us those justice for all updates. I thought that was really good, really good. And I would like to keep that going into 2026. I think that would be great.
That's something we could certainly do, and that's something we were able to do tonight when we talked about the state of Pennsylvania.
Yep. And let's see who else. I want to say Dr. West so many times, and I know I said you can't say Dr. West, but obviously Dr. West is just so Dr. West. I mean, like, what can I say that hasn't been said about Dr. West? When I interviewed his brother, Clifton West,
Uh-huh.
I've interviewed Clifton West twice, and I want to make it one more time because he gives me uncle vibes. I said this when Dr. West was on. I'm like I literally think, oh, he's an uncle. Not related. His line, my line, they don't cross. But he gives me such uncle vibes. And he made it talking to him so easy. Because with Dr. West, I'm so intimidated. Because like that's the Dr. Cornel West. I'm like, okay,
Right.
I gotta get my question right. I gotta say it the right way. But with Clifton, it was just easy. It was just like I'm talking to you, just like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. And I want to talk about this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. That was another one of my favorites. Um, I really enjoyed the scavenger hunt.
Oh wow, the
That
scavenger hunt was crazy.
that three. Let me tell you something. So I got this. Sometimes you can't leave me to think about my own ideas, right? Because I will come up with some of the craziest fundraising ideas you've ever want. Like I'll come up with stuff that doesn't even on paper make sense. So I got this brilliant idea. Hey, um, why don't I have 3 days of podcasting? Uh, so we did 80s trivia.
Yeah.
Then we turned around and did a scavenger hunt, and then I had the interview with Dr. West. Y'all know what it took to prepare for those three? By the time Monday came around, I was out. I'm like, I'm not gonna do another podcast. I was out, but it was so much fun. The scavenger hunt to me stood out. But did you take part in the scavenger hunt or did you take part in 80s trivia or both?
I did both.
Yeah,
I
because
did
it
both.
was you
I
and
I
Catherine on the 80s trivia.
I gotta admit that I won the scavenger hunt.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. 'Cause Winter was keeping score. I'm like, but what? I haven't been keeping score. We're just here to have fun.
That's the only reason I knew that I won the scavenger hunt because she kept score.
Yeah, that was fun. Um, the house. Well, no, we didn't do a house party this year. That was under the old regime.
Hmm.
That was under the other podcast. But I've just had so much. Like my eyes have been really open. And I don't think, I don't think I'm the best host. I don't, because I still think there's somebody out there that could host this podcast that would be way better at it than me. I absolutely positively believe that. But until that day comes, I'm gonna learn as much as I possibly can.
And
And
that's a
I'm gonna
fantastic thing.
do as much as I possibly can. Because as far as I know, this is the only podcast that is dedicated to one political party.
I
Oh, no, that's not true. This is the only podcast that's dedicated to the Justice for All party.
There you go. I was thinking I bet there are some
Yeah, because
single
there's three.
oriented political parties.
Yeah, there's a couple about the Green Party that I forgot because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Um,
There's gotta be some Republican and some Democratic ones. I mean,
yeah, but I
let's
don't
just
want to call their
let's just
names. They're
start
not
with
worth
like
mentioning.
well, let's just start with things like Newsmax or Fox.
Or The View.
There you go.
Well, my aunt said she got her news from The View. I'm like, are you kidding? You gotta be joking, right? You gotta be joking.
Once upon a time, I thought I was joking when I said I was getting my news from Comedy Central, and unfortunately, they tell far more truths than the news these days.
Oh, see, I enjoy it too. So Nelson says, I enjoy all the times Timothy and Paris are on the show. Thank you, Tracy, for doing this show. No, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Nelson. Nelson has been with me from day one. I mean, he was there like maybe the second episode of the Congratulations to the 47th President podcast. He hasn't missed not one episode. He said, well, no, he did. He missed one. And that's when he was moving his child from one state to another. That's the only show
Um,
I think you've missed live. I can't say that about too many. I think you and Nelson are the only two I can name that probably watched every single episode.
I have not caught them all live, I will admit, but I've caught quite a few live.
Yeah, but you've watched every, yeah, Nelson has been with me live. I think I can only think of one time where he's missed one. And I was like, well, where's Nelson? Well, where is he at? And people don't know this, and like I said, I don't think that I'm like the best host there is. I really don't. Um, but what I think is I learn what my naivety, like my naiveness, I'm hoping other people learn from that, right? Because what I want people to know is one, there's another political party out there that's not a piece of crap. Because the Democratic
Absolutely.
Party is a piece of crap and the Republican Party is a piece of crap. I would almost say the libertarians, but they have the right stance on wars, but not on, but they want to close a social safety net. So that's just where I'm not going to call them a piece of crap, but I'm like, if you would just do this one thing, um, that's one of the things I want to do. Another thing I want to do, I'm going to say we win. I want to do a special election show where I'm like, some Justice for All candidate in Seattle, Washington just won city council. That's what I want. And while I may not be the best host to do it, and I may not be the most articulate, and I may not be the most well spoken, I'm going to do my best to help Justice for All candidates get into office.
That's
That's
amazing.
what I want to do.
I know that the first state in the nation to require people to step forward and file was Texas. This past Monday on December 8th was their date if you intend to run for the 2026 federal elections. And Justice for All Party is continuing to see the various people who stepped forward and filled out a form and see how many of them may come work with the Justice for All Party in Texas, and how many candidates we actually do have in Texas. It may be a few of them, and I look forward to finding out more.
And if we could get Florida started, that would be great.
That would be great. I was told that I am meeting with a potential candidate from the Atlantic coast tomorrow. We'll see if he comes through. Not everybody always comes through for different meetings.
Yeah, it's just been, I don't want to be all sentimental sad because we're coming back. We will be back January 22nd, 2026, 7 o'clock p.m. That shift is going to be hard for some of you all to get used to because we're going from Saturday to Thursday. And boy, I'm gonna need y'all to remember that. We're moving from Saturday to Thursdays. Just remember that. Don't come in, where's the show at to go get it. So that means in terms of the schedule,
We are
um,
looking for you to be out in your community on Saturdays. You no longer have to be sitting at home watching the Justice is Here podcast live on Saturdays. Get out in your community, talk to your friends and family and neighbors, and tell them about how much more uh, leaders could be doing for you if they just worked with the Justice for All Party and got themselves into office.
absolutely. Now I know again, I want to take this time. Well, I'll do it at the end. What are your overall and I know you've been giving them here in this conversation, but what are your overall thoughts about the podcast and what is it that you think that it could do better?
Um, I think we probably share a similar opinion about the podcast. Is um, unfortunately sometimes it's hard to get people motivated to come out and participate in the shows as guests. Um, but I think that's something that we struggle with in society as a whole. It's getting people to step forward and stand up for um, truth, justice, and love. So, to the extent that we can find more people who are willing to come forward, um, put yourself out there as a candidate, or put yourself out there and organize your community to find others, um, and try to make a difference in this world. Um,
Yep, I agree. Want to wish, thank you, Nelson, for wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. January 4th. And I don't know whether I might jump live and say happy birthday to me. Um, if you all didn't know, I'll tell you this, and I think I mentioned it last year. For you all that don't know, my mother passed on my birthday, and this will be 22 years since she was gone. So my birthday's always hard for me, which is why I always mention it because I just need that little lift up. So you because last year I literally just cried. I just got on air, start crying, and then couldn't do it anymore. And I'm like, "Ah." So I'm gonna try not to do it this year. I might not even go live. I think I did it for like 10 minutes and then got off. But yeah, my birthday's kind of a hard day for me, but I'll be fine. I'm gonna press through like I always do. But what I would like to see the show improve, I want to see more guest hosts. Not just and not have me on the camera, like me be backstage and like somebody else do the because I like I said, I know there are people that can do this way better than me. I know there are. There has to be. There can't be a person that's less qualified that's there's got to be a person more qualified than me to do this.
I would love to see, when you're having guest hosts, if they could do some kind of live on location kind of guest host. Um, so possibly if they had somebody that they were interviewing and they could be in the same room with the shot, or alternatively they could be
See,
out at an event uh, doing the show.
what you see that there costs money. And see that costs money, and money is something this channel does not have. We just don't have it. But if you want to donate, Cash App, $ Tracy Media 74, I would use all that money to go for it. Yeah, but that I have definitely thought about that. I did do a No More Kings live. Although that really wasn't as good as I thought because I was just standing for 2 hours and I'm like, you know what? My legs hurt. I can't stand this long. Um, but yeah, I would love to do more location shots. And
I think the
I would
location
love,
shots. I think the location shots might work better as opposed to covering an event. Um, More kind of planning your shot that might be at
and
the event.
yeah,
So if you
and
did like a 15-minute or half-hour show that was being done at the No Kings rally, where you had different guests who were there, that might work out.
I think I did 2 hours.
Right. And it
I
was
did two whole hours.
unscripted, just kind of bumping into people like the
Yeah, I was bumping
inflatable.
into people all the time. I'm like, okay, stop. Okay.
Was the
But
inflatable ducks? Was that it, or inflatable chicken?
yes, the ducks didn't want to take their costumes off. And I'm like, take them off so we can see them. But they were like, no. I'm like, okay. But I
That's
would
part of
love
the
that.
reason they wear
And
them.
yeah, yeah, I didn't catch on to that until like he took me aside and explained it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If there's a convention, being live at the convention, that's another option. Um, there's a lot of things that I would like to see improved. Um, I'm still not gonna write my questions out. That's never gonna happen. I just can't. I won't. Um, I would like to have, this is gonna sound strange. I want to see. I want to bring Democrats to the table and call them out. I know we call them out, but I want to bring said politician on this type of podcast and be like, "Yep, what's up with you? Why are you supporting genocide?
I've
Why did you
seen,
vote?"
yeah, I've seen that kind of thing. It was interesting. Congressman Ro Khanna did a show with one of the guys from Revolutionary Black Network, um, and he called him out to the table. And they probably won't get Ro Khanna again, but it was an amazing interview.
Yeah, and I would, you know, I know in my mind that it's hard to get people excited when there's not an election, because I'm assuming, like, when we get candidates going, people are gonna be like, "Yeah, let me come on," but when you're in the interim and you're trying to organize and plan, and it's hard, but I appreciate everybody that said, "Yeah, I'll come on." Even if they had to dip out and I had to come up with stuff at the last minute. I think that's the good thing about this show is when I face times when there wasn't a guest, I could think, "Oh, I got Tim, I got Paris, I got these people in my back pocket that I can always call on to jump on." I did that today, because this was gonna be like a 15-minute show. I was gonna be like, "Okay, let me talk about Brahm and how he got embarrassed," and that's all I was gonna talk about. I just greatly appreciate everybody that's watched this, and I think this is a great start. Um, doesn't mean I'm coming back to the national committee. Don't No, that's not probably gonna happen. But I think being an activist and being from the outside, promoting the inside of the party is going to be more beneficial for me, personally, and for the audience. Because, when there's critiques needed, I'm gonna make them. I'm not gonna, um, hold back. I don't think I ever have a problem hold back. That's one thing you can always say about me. I'm always going to say exactly what I think. There's no time where I'm like, "What? But don't wanna say that." No, I'm pretty much gonna say it. But when there's an opportunity for growth, that's what I'll call it, an opport I'm gonna point it out. And one of the things I'll say, and I'll let you kinda do this before I say my last words, um, there's an opportunity that Justice for All party has that I don't think we'll ever have again, and what I don't wanna see is the party miss it. We have people just disenfranchised with the two-party system. You got genocide under the Biden administration. You had just a genocide under the Trump administration. And what has changed? We're talking about, if I'm not wrong, more money for Ukraine, um, a war with Venezuela for some reason, where you say it's for drugs and then you pardon a person that was in the drug cartel. People are starting to wake up and see, this may not be best for me. And I want the Justice for All party to take advantage of that. And it's only a small window to take advantage of that. And I don't think it's gonna come open if if there's a delay. I think it's an opportunity miss, and that's what I don't wanna see, and that's what keeps me doing this show.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think the opportunity is now. I think we absolutely have places for all sorts of Americans within the Justice for All party. I think what we're looking for oftentimes is for people who are willing to volunteer, to stand up, to come forward. That might mean being a candidate. That might mean helping a candidate. That might mean just getting more people involved with the party. Um, I guess it's one of those things that I try to make, and I don't do the best as far as making the party better each day. But I try to live my life more intentionally. I try to walk in truth, justice, and love, and I try to lead with love. And I think that if for no other reason we can get more people on board politically supporting that sort of a message and agenda, we make the world a better place.
Absolutely. That was very well said, and I'm gonna have the last word. First of all, it's been overall, in terms of this podcast, a great 2025. This year has brought, of course, it's downs, but I'm gonna cut my thought here and let Nelson have the last word in the comments. By getting behind and taking up justice for all cause, it will make up for the failure of the times I backed Bernie Sanders and make things better. As I was saying before, there's been some times I just wanted to walk away. I'm like, nobody's watching this podcast, nobody cares about it, nobody likes it. I can't get people to come on. I get for various reasons. But I thought about it, and not to pat myself on the back, but I'm about to pat myself on the back. I literally stepped into a space that never was stepped into before. There was nobody that had there was nobody that had a podcast exclusively dedicated to Dr. West, Dr. Abdullah's campaign. Like Tracy, you did that. And then I followed it up with having a podcast dedicated to a particular party. There's no, and I hope there is, but there's no other podcast about the Justice for All party out there that I know of. If there is, please let me know, and you can take over host. You could, I'll promote the living daylights out of you. Absolutely promise. But
We'll have a whole
sometimes
network. We'll have a whole Justice for All network.
exactly, and I think that isn't a. I want people to realize what type a positive thing that is. There is a podcast that is exclusively dedicated to a new party. Yes, I know the Green Party has a podcast. Yes, I know the Libertarians have a podcast. I'm assuming the Democrats have one. I know the Republicans got like 15,000 of them. But who's out there talking about moving in truth, justice, and love? Who's out there doing that in this space? Sometimes I gotta say, girl, you did that. And keep with that. And that's what keeps me going. Not the, oh, I can't find a guest. Because sometimes I mean, there were literally times I was like, I can't no more. But then I think if I stop, then what? If I stop, what happens? Who's going to be out there getting justice for all candidates on the air? Who's going to be interviewing them? Who's going to be talking to them? Who's going to put it on their Facebook page, their Twitter account, their Blue Sky? Who's going to do that? And so I really want to thank everybody. I mean, literally everybody that came on during 2025. There are 2026 is going to be fantastic. Um, it's going to be a busy year, but it's going to be great. We're gonna break records. We're gonna get people on here. We probably will do a couple of panels. When as organizing continues, we'll keep giving you all updates. We'll have different party state chairs on to talk about what they're doing. It's going to be a fantastic year, but what we won't have is an introduction. Because if you watch the show, you see that you'll hear my voice say on Saturdays, and of course, the show is moving to Thursdays. Thursdays at 7 p.m. will be our new time. Mark it on your calendars. Don't come here on Saturday telling me where's the show and I don't see it. You won't see it. You will not see this show until January the 24th. No, January the 22nd. January the 22nd, 2026, 7 o'clock p.m. Count the days down. Remember to like this page, comment, subscribe, share. Tell 5 people. If everybody watching this show can tell 5 people about this podcast, we would literally have 9 people watching. And if those 9 people told 5 people, that would be 45. And if those 45 told 5 people, my multiplication is out, but I think that's 65. No, wait a minute. 45 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 225. And if those 225 tell 5 and et cetera, you get the point. We start growing. And every movement always started with one person. It was some person that had an idea and said, gee, we should do this. It's our turn now. Tell 5 people, encourage 5 people to go back and watch all the previous episodes. Um, Thank you for tuning in. Remember to join me December the 26th. That is a Friday because Christmas is on a Thursday, boo. But join me Friday for the Tracy Show Christmas special. We are going to have so much fun. We're talking Christmas songs, Christmas meals, Christmas specials, the story behind Christmas, myths about Christmas. It's going to be a fun show. I've done this for like the past 3 years. This will be my 4th year doing it. And final thought, if somebody, Nelson, I hope you're still watching. Nelson, do you remember how many times total I have interviewed Dr. West? I think it's 4. I'm solidly thinking it's 4, but Fatima seems to think it's 5. I can't remember the 5 times I can remember 4 times, but I cannot remember the 5th time. I can't. So Nelson, if you could help me out with that, Tim, do you have any last words before we head out?
Love thy neighbor as thyself. Be well.
And remember to always walk in truth, walk in justice, walk in love. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for making 2025 a great one. More to come in 2026. We're getting bigger, we're getting better. Thank you. I'm going to do the outro. Have a fantastic evening.